Hello, everyone. Let's give a couple seconds here for people to get logged on. Great. So everyone that's here, welcome to our webinar. I'm super excited to speak with you today. I know how valuable your time is, and thanks for taking some time in the middle of the workday to connect with us and hear what we got going on over here. I'll try to be as brief as possible and cover as much ground as possible. So I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Kyle Vadas. I'm an account executive here based out of our Austin, Texas office, working on our enterprise partnerships team. I'm going to be walking you through some of the challenges that we've seen within modern day companies and how Sprinklr can help solve some of those hurdles to really deliver a next generation customer experience that is built for this wild and digital world that we're living in today. So my only ask of you guys, sit back, enjoy the presentation. Please participate in the Q&A widget that we have here. Don't be afraid to leave any comments, thoughts, questions as we are going through the 15-minute presentation, and then we'll circle back and make sure that we got everybody the information that you need. Hopefully we'll be able to answer it right after your question. So I'm going to walk you through a quick presentation here, and then I'm going to turn it over to my technical counterpart, Luis Vilos, who has been at Sprinklr for a while now and previously came over from Oracle. Before that, he was working in the White House under the Obama administration, working on some of their CX initiatives there. So great asset to our team and really good to show you guys kind of a technical view on what the Sprinklr platform looks like in action, so you can get a feel on a day in the life of a Sprinklr user. So I'm going to start us off here with a question, right? And I want to implore you guys to really give it some thought. So you all work in different business units and work in different types of businesses across different industries, right? Maybe it's marketing, social media, customer service, advertising, customer research, right? I want to ask you guys, what changes have you seen in the behavior of your customers, right? You know your customer base better than I do, but over the last 5 years or so, right? How have they changed? How have they adapted to this new digital world that you're living in, right? In this webinar, we're really going to shift the focus and the spotlight and turn it on your customers. So how can you solve the problems that they're facing and serve them better to start to take a holistic and customer-centric view to the way that your customer-facing teams work? And that's how we view customer experience at Sprinklr. So keep this question in mind. Maybe you're not exactly sure of how your customers have changed. That's okay too. But I love to throw this out there as kind of a starting point on the way that we look at our serving your customers here, right? So what we've seen in the last 10 to 15 years is there's really been a dramatic shift in the way that consumers engage with brands and engage with each other, in this modern world. Right. So I don't think this should be a surprise to most people. Just think about your own life, right? And what you do on a daily basis. So I know myself, if I opened up my iPhone here, I have about 20 different applications in there that I use on a daily basis. You got Twitter, LinkedIn, messaging apps, Reddit, review sites. So all these channels are constantly changing. And, I think back 10 years ago, and I think I was on Facebook like every second of the day. Now it seems like Facebook is a dinosaur for the younger generations, right? They've migrated to Instagram and to TikTok and Discord, and it's constantly in flux, right? Where people are spending their time online. So there's all of these digital channels out there. And as a result of this, what we've seen is really an explosion of data that is available on every person and all of your consumers in the digital world. So there's really this vast ocean of publicly available data that is out there. And the key point here, and not to get too technical, but all this data is unstructured, meaning that it's significantly different from the traditional data that you've had access to and that you've engaged with your customers with, right? So their name, their email, their phone number, that's what we call static data, and more along the lines of traditional data. This unstructured data that's out there now is in the form of likes, comments, tweets, blog posts, DMs, reviews, right? And the truth is that companies are just not built to be able to digest and handle this data, and in many ways still stuck in 2012, right, when it comes to the way that they view their customer data and they view their customers as a whole. So the third shift that we've seen here is consumers have higher expectations now than ever. It's a noisy world, and they're smarter and more informed, and there's more competition out there, right? So modern day consumers want instant resolution. They want personalized attention. They trust their peers way more than they trust you as a brand. And they have little patience for anything other than, an exceptional customer experience, right? So, I mean, when you think about who do you trust as a consumer, right? For me, when I go out to a restaurant, first thing I do is look on Yelp, right? I want to hear someone that has an unbiased opinion on how this restaurant was and what their experience was going to that restaurant. And then, when you think about the patience aspect, look at your own life. When you call into an airline or return an online purchase, I mean, how frustrating is it when you're put on hold for 3 hours or can't get to an answer to a simple question or a simple change to your account? Really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And what might have been acceptable 5 years ago in today's environment just simply isn't acceptable from a brand standpoint. And you can really lose that faith in your customer and that connection with your customer really fast. So I think this is the great companies have seen this and been able to adapt to this shift and these 3 points here. And it's really a great opportunity for these up and coming companies or companies that really want to stand out from the pack to leave a mark on your customer and create that great customer experience, and that's adapted to this shift that's happening. So I'm going to take a pause here and ask you guys a question. You guys can answer this down in the chat as well. So how many software tools are you using today, whether it's your teams, whether it is your on a day-to-day basis, what you're individually using, or teams that you collaborate with? I mean, just as a general number, right? Start to think about how many different tools that you guys are using on a day-to-day basis, right? To do all of your capabilities and all of your functions. So I'd love to see that number down in the chat. Feel free to throw it in there. But the reason I put that slide on there, right, and I'm asking that question, a lot of smart people has seen this shift that I was alluding to in the modern day world, right? But what's happened is that organizations, as they were growing up and maturing, started to take a piecemeal approach to their customer facing teams. Now, it wasn't their fault, because this concept of a unified customer experience is a new thing, right? We're starting it. We're the leaders in the space that are really building this next generation unified customer experience. But what's happened in the past is customer service teams would go out and buy a technology, right? Your social media team would go one to post content and to engage with customers in social channels. Your customer insights team as another one for research, right? And what's happened is, as organizations have grown, more and more different technology vendors have been added on, right? This means all of these different logins, all of these different vendors to engage with. If you're looking for a new technology, now you have to go run an RFP. And it's really created this issue, which we call point solution chaos, right? Where internally you have all these different logins and all these different tools, and you're not able to get a single source of truth for your customers. So this is even more important for those fast-growing organizations as you think about the way that your needs grow and you require additional capabilities down the line. With this approach, you're not going to have to go out and you're going to have to go out and evaluate different vendors and see which one integrates with which, and really creates a nightmare situation. So who suffers most from this? It's the customers, right? Because the customer journey is fundamentally disjointed. You don't get a holistic view from the customer standpoint. So some of you might see this going on with your organization. Maybe you've realized this in the past. Maybe it's kind of a light bulb's going off and saying, oh, this kind of is how we operate, now, even though we didn't know it. But there's no way, you might be saying, there's no way we can, rip all these different technologies, right now and replace them. It's too much of a headache. And I would agree, right? That's not, what Sprinklr does. At Sprinklr, more than anything, we really want to be a partner for you guys. We want to understand where you're at now, understand what specific challenges you're facing, what pain points are you facing when you're trying to serve your customers on a daily basis. And, where do you want to go in the future? And we want to work with you guys to really put together a crawl, walk, run approach to getting you to a true unified customer experience. And we think that's, when you look at the next generation of great companies that are going to come up in the next 10 to 20 years, we think customer experience and creating a unified approach to serving your customers is of the utmost importance. So there's four major areas that we consider your customer experience, right? It's research, customer care, marketing and advertising, and then engagement and sales. And this makes up your customer experience. Now, what does this unified approach look like within Sprinklr, right? How does this actually work, right? So the first thing that we want to allow you guys to do is, one, be where your customers are, right? Listen and understand on over 30 channels, right? Whether it's social media, messaging apps, blogs, forums, review sites, digesting all of the publicly available data that is out there at scale. So, this is what I was speaking about before, this vast ocean of data that's out there. Okay, well, you can digest it. Now, the next step, number two here, is really using Sprinklr's AI, and this is where we separate ourselves from, a lot of the competition, is our AI is built for unstructured data. So being able to sift through and break down all of this unstructured data into actionable insights, right? Making it easy to use and easy to understand what your customers care about, what they like, what they don't, and what gets them to buy. So sifting through all of that with AI, and after you're able to pull these insights, right, now taking action and being able to do this in one unified platform, right? So whether it's marketing, customer care, engagement, using those customer insights to make the customer happier and really deliver these great moments of joy and connection to your customers. And then the fourth point here, when you take a step back and you are thinking about, from a high level, how to operate at a more efficient pace, being able to measure and analyze and report and constantly improve on all of your functions across your customer-facing teams, right? So that is a big aspect of Sprinklr. By having everything in a unified platform, you're able to really get a sense of what the truth is about how to get your teams to operate at a more effective level. So, I put some of our customers here, right? And this isn't to brag, right? But really to showcase that we've solved, the problems that you're facing many times before, the problems that you don't even know that you're facing, we've solved them too, right? We've been there for some of the largest and most complex businesses in the world. And you might be sitting there and thinking, well, we're not Nike, right? We're not Cisco, we're not Microsoft, we're not one of these large corporations. And at Sprinklr, we've actually traditionally we've been focused on these large corporations, but over the last year or so, we've really designed these new enterprise packages, which are specifically built for the fast-growing and lean teams to have a huge impact and really start to implement the Sprinklr platform in a way that fits your needs now, fits your needs in the future, and also fits your budget. Right. So this is what Luis is going to showcase today, is kind of these packages that make it super effective for a lean team to really improve that customer experience, start to take this holistic point of view and start to use our AI to deliver exceptional results for your customers. So what I will say, the Sprinklr platform is extremely personalizable, customizable, and built out specifically for your needs as an organization. We like to say, bring us your problems and let's see if we could figure out a way to solve them, right? So that being said, we would love to sit down, and what I would implore you guys as a next step, if there's any interest after our demo today, is to let's get a platform demo request on the calendar, right? Let's sit down with you guys and really feel out some of the things that you're facing today and some of the challenges that you're facing today, and walk you through our sales process on, how we make sure that everything is built out and we're making sure that we're getting the right amount of value, by the time before you even put a pen to paper for a contract, right? We want to make sure that we can showcase exactly the results that we expect to deliver, and that you can hold us accountable to deliver and that we've done with all these great organizations. So we would, as a next step, call to action. If anybody's interested, please set up a platform demo request, and look forward to connecting with you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Luis. He's going to showcase some of the platform and exactly what it looks like in action, so you guys can get a feel on what happens when you're a Sprinklr customer. But thanks for the time today, and I'm going to turn it over to Luis.